All right. Anyway, yeah. So like, the mentality is like, so honestly, like, I know the last things to go are the things that I really need to go in life. You know what I'm saying? Like the domestic relations type of shit. Like if that disappeared, like my life changes completely because I'm like a free fucking man for the first time in fuck 18 years, right? And I have the ability to just go and you know what I mean like fucking like I can live my life as a human being again. You know what I mean? Like get back to like just being a person. You know what I mean? Like I don't have to worry about like how much fucking money I gotta make every fucking month. You know what I mean? I ain't gotta fucking stress out about like fucking covering, you know what I mean, fucking 20,000 a year in child support. You know what I mean? Because like I can go, all right, well yeah, like I can live on 30 grand a year. You know what I mean? Like life changes completely for me at that point. I mean, granted, it kills some of the grind, but it makes me a better human. You know what I mean? And like that's, I guess that's why like I really want society to fall down. Like honestly, because like if I could have some of these debts cleared off earlier, like I won't be as old when they clear off. Is kind of the deal. You know what I mean? Like being 39 and not having child support. You know what I mean? Or like actually 39, 12, so it's 6, so fucking, yeah, I'd be 43, right? 43, first time, like, I'm free without being on papers. Like, that's murderous. You know what I'm saying? Legit, that's killer as far as shit's concerned. And, like, my baby's mom, she gave me the option. She said, if you sign away your rights to your kid, fucking, like, you won't have any child support. And I've been thinking about that a lot recently.
My friend did that to her son. She said to my friend Nate, she's like, if you sign your rights away, she's like, I won't take you for child support. She's like, because I'm getting married. He wants to adopt him. He wants to take care of him. So sign your rights away so he can adopt him. And Nate just didn't care. So he was like, fuck it, and signed his rights away. Like, I mean, I get the mentality, but at the same time, like, I mean, just because you're signing your rights away doesn't mean, like, you're disowning your child. You know what I mean? Because you can still reach out to them. They can still reach out to you.
Nah, because you no longer have any rights to it.
No, you
right?
don't, but they can still reach out to you.
Nah, because like, yo, it's all right. How do I put this, man? Let me put this like this. So when I was a kid, fucking, I was locked up. Actually, when I got locked up, right? My dad, like, had beat me to the point like where like I was like bloody and I'm leaking all over the place, and like the cops was like press charges on your dad and we'll let you go. I'm like, no, it's not happening, right? You know, I'm like, I'm not gonna bury my family. I'm not gonna give somebody like a fucking sword to harm my team so that you can sit here and you know what I mean, fucking catch an extra collar. You know what I mean? And I can get off on my shit because like that's not how this operates. And it's kind of on that same level with like my kid. It's like, nah, man, like yo, I'll suffer for you. You know what I mean? Like I'll hold fast and hold steady. You know, and when he gets old enough and you know what I mean like he's 18, 19 years old and I talk to him again and that's kind of where the mental is like when I talk to him again he's 18, 19 and he looks at me and goes, where have you been? I'll go, this is what happened, and I'll tell him the fucking truth. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like I've been reaching out to you forever. You know what I mean? And like your mom has been preventing me from talking to you. You know, and I don't know what the fuck happened with you and your brother, whatever the case might be. You know what I mean? But that had nothing to do with me. You know what I mean? Because like for me, like I would have never thought anything negative of that because like y'all was always thick as thieves and he loved you. You know what I'm saying? And like you loved him and that was like the whole purpose of it. And so with that being said, like when he's 18, he reaches out to me. I'll fucking break it down to him. Like, here's what it is. Like, oh, you my baby and I love you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my little man's. And she offered for me to fucking sign away my rights to you. And I wouldn't do it because, like, I knew one day that, like, no matter what happened, you would always be my fucking kid. You know what I mean? When it really came down to it. You know, and like my balls, my heart, my blood, my honor, my ancestors will not allow me to fucking make that decision. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, I don't think anybody should have to.
I feel you.
To be honest. Like, I think the whole child support and domestic and all that shit, I think it's all bullshit. Like, I don't agree with it at all. And I'm a female. I don't agree with it at all.
Yo, I understand what you're saying, right?
Like, I think it's bogus. I think it's shit.
It is. You know what I mean? Like, it really is. And, like, to have somebody be put in that position to where, like...
But it's like you're forcing somebody to have to take care of their child. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry. And if they want to have it, like, don't lock them up. What's that doing? Nothing.
Well, like, here's the thing.
It's not giving them the ability to pay their shit anyway.
Here's the problem. Like, the vast majority of people in this country are poor.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you know, you're talking about, like, the top 1%, right? Like, you know, the average human being in this country, right? We're not talking about, like... Because, like, it's skewed because of the amount of money that, like, the very, 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 very top make. Right, is the issue, right? When you talk about, like, the top make billions of dollars, it kind of moves the goalpost forward as far as, like, medium earnings inside of America, right? Because when you start looking at, like, the average take-home pay of an American citizen, it's like $34,000, $35,000 a year. So, like, when it comes down to it, that's, like, after taxes, right? And fucking health insurance and shit. You know, so, like, when you're bringing home 34 grand a year, like, you're rich by no means. You know what I mean? Like, you have the ability to set yourself up for later, but as far as being able to afford an expense of where legitimately 20 years ago, $500 a month, that's about an average child support payment, it's about $500 a month. That was a rent payment. Like, you could have owned a fucking home by the time you're done paying for your kids. And to have that level of expense taken out of your ass for 18 years, and on weeks where, like, you get sick, or weeks where, like, you know what I'm saying, like, your work didn't have money, or you were in between jobs, or you were injured, whatever the case might be, that shit still stacks on you. You know, like, that shit there, like, is some painful shit, you know what I mean, for a dude, because, like, it's like you're spinning your wheels, because catching that up is a motherfucker, and it never stops. It's not a percentage. Like, if your income goes down, it doesn't change that. It's not a percentage base. It's a fucking, like, it's a fucking set number that you constantly have to hit. And that's cool if you make more money. But, like, legitimately getting beyond that point, right? Like, getting beyond that number is a fucking highly difficult thing inside of this country. Because everybody else as well, you have 360 million other people trying to get on beyond that number too. So, like, yo, like, yeah, of course, I'm in the top 10% of human beings for fucking, you know what I mean, brain power. You know what I mean? And so, therefore, I'm in the top 20% of earners. Should I be in the top 10% of earners? I probably should. You know what I mean? My life has put me where my fucking life has put me. You know, and again, you get back to where, like, if these, how do I put this, man? Like, for instance, with this YouTube thing that I do, right? Like, I'm on YouTube, and, like, I fucking, I got my channel, all that shit. And if YouTube was a free speech platform, like, or if they, like, stood there and told advertisers to go fuck themselves. And I'm not saying you got to be completely free. Like, you don't have to have porn. You don't have to have all this retarded shit. Like, but, like, you can stand here and protect, like, intellectual debate. You know what I mean? Even if it's, like, you know, racist, whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's cool. You know, because people don't migrate towards racist motherfuckers. Like, because, like, guys like Turfling Monkey, he hops on with these racist motherfuckers, and he just punches people in the face with that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, he hits them square in the mouth with that retarded garbage. And if you can stand here and shut that shit the fuck down, right? Like, people will migrate away from that fucking bullshit. And they migrate towards individuals who have a better perspective and a better way of doing things anyway. Because racism is, how do I put this, man? Like, yo, being able, like, yeah, you can walk up to anybody and, like, you'll know their culture. And that's fine, right? Like, you can look at somebody and, like, you know who they are, like, as a person. I mean, based on how they're built, how they look, how their face shape is, because like their culture tends to breed around certain individuals, you know, around like, you know, I mean, fucking certain groups of people. Every group of people has their own culture about what they do. Like, if you go out to Pittsburgh and you run into a motherfucker with squinty eyes and shit, and he's a white person, he's probably Eastern European. That means that motherfucker probably likes pierogies and shit. He's a Yinzer. He likes fucking he likes the Steelers. Again, like, yeah, you can run into these things, right? And none of these are negative fucking stereotypes. Like, you run into a fucking black person in the hood, no, they probably like fried chicken. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, they probably like Jordans. They probably like 20-inch spinning rims or 24-inch spinning rims. You know what I mean? Like, yo, they like shiny things. You run into fucking broads, like, yo, all of them like shiny things. Like, yo, it is what it is when it comes down to it. That's kind of the situation. So, like, when... and having these conversations, right, and bullshitting and joking and laughing and keeping it lighthearted because that's what you do, some motherfuckers get super offended about it, and then, like, YouTube will shut you the fuck down. But, like, if they weren't holding me back in the manner in which they're holding me and everybody the fuck else back, I'd have 1 million subs right now. Like, I'd have been fucking bombed this fucking platform, and I would have fucking, like, I'd have fucking took over. And... like, my natural talents would have had an opportunity to shine. But even without, I still have that type of opportunity, right? But it's not as an easy of a grind because of the fact that there's all these hurdles in the fucking way now. Like, they say God don't close a door without opening the fucking window. You know what I'm saying? And, like, KRS-One said, fucking, the devil, he comes to you, you know what I'm saying? He's real approachable. He'll hit you with the, you can have whatever you like, you know what I'm saying, right? But God comes to you with, like, big drums and music, and he goes, yo, look, here's the blessing. It's up here. Work up to it, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? God says you gotta work, ain't shit for free. And I get that. And I, you know what I mean, I handle my business and I show my motherfucking grind on a regular basis. And I outgrind everybody constantly. I don't have a problem doing that. But, like, fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, to be able to shine on that motherfucking level, to get within those top 10% of motherfuckers, right? Where I belong. Like I do said earlier, he was like, look, you know what I mean, fucking, we were watching Rounders, right? Fucking with Matt Damon and Edward Norton, right? And there's an old Jewish dude on there, right? And he looks and he goes, he's talking, this Jewish dude's talking to Matt Damon, and, you know, he said, like, fucking, when he was 12, he had the understanding of the Torah, right? Because his whole family was, like, rabbis and shit. And he said when he was 12, he had a 40-year-old understanding of the fucking Torah. And he said when he was 13, he had every understanding that he was never going to be a rabbi. And his family never forgave him for not being a rabbi because that's what was expected of him by his family members. And Matt Damon said, fucking, did you ever, like, once you look back at your life, did you ever regret that decision? He said, what decision? It wasn't a decision to be made. You know what I'm saying? Like, we are what we are. God makes us into being who we are as people. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not given a choice about your talents and abilities. Like, you can build, and I mean, like, skill sets and shit. But the reality is that if you have a natural gift for something, you're going to gravitate towards that. You know what I'm saying? That's really where that mental is. You know, and so, like, I always had, like, the gift of gab. Like, even when I was a pup, I remember Nelson and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking. I was hanging out down there at his crib and shit one day, right? And, like, we used to hang around and just, like, we talk shit constantly. Fucking, you know, they call it playing the dozens or whatever. Like, we just talk shit back and forth constantly, motherfuckers. Whatever we do. And, like, we were sitting there the one day, he's like, yo, you know, Tom Pease is, like, the best salesman ever. Like, yo, you should see this nigga put in work. And I was like, yo, bro, man, what? He's like, yo, bro, sell me this pen. Right, yo, and, like, I sat there, I went, like, his whole spiel and shit. Like, fucking, like, yo, and, like, motherfucker, he was high as fuck. There was, like, 10 people there. Motherfuckers is like, yo, nigga, sell me this. Yo, sell me that. Right, and it's like, yo, I've always had that gift of gab. Like, I've had that. That's always where I'm at. I was up in Dolphin. I'm hanging out front. Like, these motherfuckers start, like, buying me beer just to come outside and talk shit. And tell stories and bullshit and make motherfuckers cut up and laugh. You know what I mean? Like, yo, so it's just a natural fucking gift that I've always had. You know what I mean? Like, far beyond other people around me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and so like I was gonna do this. Like no matter what happened, this was gonna be a pathway for me at one point. You know, like I didn't choose it, it chose me. It chose me. You know what I mean? Like, yo, because there's a bunch of motherfuckers on here who I started off with. Like, are they still on the same level they was at when we started off? I'm not. You know what I mean? Like, my shit evolves and gets better and we go back and forth and we do what we do. But anyway, yeah, like, so I guess kind of like the whole point is that, you know, maybe with this shit that's happening right now, we'll come back to a better appreciation and understanding because of the sacrifice we made for our freedoms that everybody else, wasn't willing to make. You know what I mean? Because in America, they're not going to put troops on the streets and tell us to stay inside our houses because we're not willing to give up their freedom in that manner. And the United States is going to lose a lot of people because of that. But that's a sacrifice that has to be made. You know, it is what it is. You don't know?
No,
how do you not know?
I mean, I'm just saying. I know that they're not going to, but you don't know what's going to happen. Hopefully it turns out better. I don't know. I don't really...
Well,
it is what it is. Like, you know, there's
look, man, it is what it is. It is what it is. Always the motherfucking answer to every goddamn thing, right? Like, yo, that's always my answer for most things. You know what I'm saying? Like, here's the situation, and then, you know, once you know the situation, it is what it is, right? But
I don't think there's a lot of people out there that agree with your mentality.
There's not, because, like, these motherfuckers don't appreciate their freedom.
They take it for granted. They don't.
Well, like, you think about it like this, right? Like, there's so many men out here, like, in particular, like, and this is why, like, I was bitching at, like, I was out here having a conversation with Pops and his friend last night, and, like, we was talking about, fucking, like, how, like, he's from Puerto Rico, and he said, like, we have respect for our elders down there, and I was like, our elders are fucking worthless fucks, you know what I'm saying? And so, with that being said, it got down to the point of where I was like, our elders have become complacent and aren't like good stewards for our freedom anymore. Right? Because like, all right, so here was like the original part of this that I wanted to fucking talk about. Fucking, not like in general, but like fucking when I first had this thought pattern a second ago. Fucking when you look at like, for instance, politicians, right? Fucking, like, if you want to be president of the United States, you could never be somebody like me or you, right? Because they'd find out all the fucking terrible things that we did in our fucking lifetimes, right? Yeah. And it would be just the amount of mud that would get drug out of our past and skeletons that would come out. But the reality is that's the best part of our lives. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the part of us that, like, makes us who we are.
But maybe it needs to be that way.
What do you mean?
They need to have somebody that has fucking flaws and a heart.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what the fuck I'm trying to say.
They can't have somebody that's squeaky clean.
Well,
and they have no idea.
But the whole point is that these fucking boomers, they've lived their lives exactly perfect, constantly. Right? They fucking constantly lived their lives on this perfect fucking level. To where, like, they fucking are like, I'm going to avoid every mistake and I'm going to fucking save 20% of my income and I'm going to fucking retire and I'm going to fucking have, you know what I mean, like, my 2.3 kids and my white picket fence and my house and I'm never going to step outside of what the hell I'm supposed to do, right? You know what I mean? And, like, that mentality, because, like, this is why, like, I walk in both worlds between conservatives and liberals and shit. Like, because there's a lot of policies that I'm super fucking liberal on, right? A lot of them that I'm fucking super leftist. Like, I'm ridiculously leftist on some fucking policies. Like, when it comes to, like, shit about freedom, like, I'm fucking hard left, right? But, like, all right, how do I put this, man? All right, so I'm not hard left when it comes to, like, sexual freedom in, like, the marketplace, right? Like, the sexual marketplace being completely liberating. Okay. I'm not cool with the government paying for people's fuck ups. Right? Like, I don't think you should, because this is the part where, like, they're like, yo, man, fucking the banks got bailed out. Why don't we? I'm like, you get bailed out all the fucking time, motherfucker. Like, how many motherfuckers is on welfare right now? You know what I'm saying? Like, how many people fucking like, yo, would you get a child support check if the government didn't pay for that shit? You know what I'm saying? Would you be allowed to walk down the street right now and not get robbed if the government didn't pay for that shit? You know what I mean? Like, yo, there's all these fucking things that the government does for you, like, you don't fucking realize. And people just think that's, like, common, normal fucking society and shit. So, like, I'm not cool with the government paying for your fuck-ups. But on the same point, I'm not cool with fucking people having the freedom to use the fucking government against you, right? Like, for instance, I don't like the ideology that if you served your time for doing a crime, right, you paid your debt to society, you went to jail, you went on probation, you walked your time off, and you're done. That should never be spoken about again.
Shouldn't.
I mean, short of, like, going back in court, like, say, like, you know, like, you were a rapist, right?
Yeah.
When you were 18, you got caught raping a bitch or fuck, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got caught stealing some shit, right? And then, like, you did your time, got out, you're 21, whatever, you know what I'm saying? And, like, 21 years old, and you go and do that shit again, like, yeah, you should be able to fucking charge as, like, it's your second time doing it, right? But it should not be something that's brought up at a job.
No.
Right? Because you should be able to go make a living. Short of working with children, which, you know what I mean, is a liability.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm cool with, like, the idea, like, if you're working with kids, yeah, by all means, we should have a list of people that shouldn't work with kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, niggas who are out here fucking, like, banging children and shit, no, you don't get to work with kids.
I don't think they should ever be allowed back in society.
I personally think you should hand them off to the parents of that kid and let them have their fucking way with it.
Exactly.
You know, but the bitch is here's a real bitch. Even if you did that, parents would be so fucking cowardice that they wouldn't do anything.
Some.
Like, here's the real bitch. The mom would probably fuck that dude. That's the motherfucker about it. Oh, yo, moms are so grimy. So grimy. Like, yo, they're so dirty, bitches. Or women are so fucking foul.
Some.
Oh, my God. Yo, it's fucking terrible. Like, that shit baffles my fucking mind. I'll be real with you.
Well, yeah, because you did something when you was a kid. Because now, what, 16, you can be tried as an adult?
Yeah.
So you fucked up at 16, and now you're 30, and you're still living with it. Like, it's not, like, that shouldn't be. I'm a firm believer of that.
I agree with you.
You go to jail, you do your time, you come out, you should be able to do what you want. But, like, as I was recruiting, like, we have to go back 10 years.
Yeah.
10 years for a background check.
Why?
7 to 10 years. Technically,
Why?
it's supposed to be 7.
And here's the bitch. Like, yo, you was working for a trucking company.
Yeah.
Why? Why do you have to have a background check on somebody for 10 years?
But see, I was working for... Yeah, but see, we did for the Postal Service.
Again!
So it was
no, the Postal Service...
Yeah.
No, the Postal Service is? It's a shipping company.
Yeah.
That's owned by the government.
Yeah.
Again, why?
But, yeah, that...
Why? No. Like, not a legal why, a moral why. Why? Why is that a thing?
Yeah, it's crazy. It shouldn't be.
Why? Like, that's my... Why?
It's because the insurance companies don't want to pay.
That's the problem. They're not a liability.
That's what they say it is.
I know.
That's their mentality. That's
I know.
What they say.
There's no evidence of that shit.
I know. Because, dude, like, for misdemeanors, I couldn't even hire somebody that had a misdemeanor.
Yeah.
Like, I tried to.
Yeah.
Pushed it through the system. Then it goes to the post office. And then they sent it up to another place. And then they do the federal background check and everything. And then it came back. And it was like, oh, you can't do it. I'm like, what for kind of shit is that? Like, I fought hard. Like, I'm a firm believer. If I could really get into something, it would be like, I want to work my way to the 5th floor. And I want to get in, like, I don't know, parole, some shit like that, and try to change some shit.
Let's not talk about, like, where you actually work, right?
No, I'm not
you know what I'm saying? Like, none of that
I'm
bullshit,
saying,
right?
like, that's what I want to do. Like,
yeah.
I want to work up, that's what I want to do.
I feel what you're saying,
like,
right?
I want to change it, because it's fucked up.
You can't change it. You get inside, like, it doesn't change. Nothing changes. Right? And this is the fucking problem. Like, if you want to change some shit like that, like, you literally have to have legislation to make some shit like that change. What you got to do is you have to gather together enough fucking people that, like, you really get a petition going and, like, fucking stand there and petition your fucking government and march and get on the fucking front steps and make them change the rules. Like, yo, you should not be a second-class citizen, you know what I'm saying, with a felony.
No.
Like, as I said, like, yo, the dude who was here last night, Puerto Rican guy, right, has a bachelor's in criminal fucking science and shit, right? An actual degree, He was a police officer in fucking Puerto Rico. Here, he can't get a fucking job because he caught a DUI.
Yeah.
For fuck type of shit is that? This is a dude who speaks 2 languages. You know what I'm saying? It was a well-respected law enforcement officer in Puerto Rico, right? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Came here because like, he was taking care of his family, whatever the case might be. His like mom or dad or whatever the fuck it was. Right?
Did they pass that, like, or aren't they working on that? Because I know the one dude that got out of jail, and he's working in the government now, doing some shit. Like, they're expunging people's records. Or so with the, if you have a felony, you can't own a firearm.
Yeah.
But they're doing it if you've been out and you're 10 years with no activity at all. Like, I mean, you have little minor shit, you know, speeding tickets, stuff like that doesn't affect. But no fine, no felonies or misdemeanors or anything. They're clearing your record and they're allowing you to get firearms now.
Yeah.
There's certain stipulations they're doing where they're clearing your record. Like, the guy came out and he started to do that. Like, he works somewhere. I read the article on it.
Yeah.
Like, he came out of prison and he's, like, fighting for that right. I mean, it's how it should be. I don't know if it should be 10 years, but maybe give him a chance. Maybe,
I don't think there should be any stipulations of once you're done serving your time to fucking society, right?
I mean, would you really want, like, okay, I get
yes.
it. I understand the mentality. I do. I agree with you.
I'm cool. Like, no, see, here's the thing. Like, I am a hardcore constitutionalist. Like, legit. No man should be denied his fucking freedoms. Ever. Right, yes, once you're, like, if you commit a crime, right, if you commit, like, an actual crime, and I'm not talking about, like, the bullshit crimes we've invented, all right, like, an actual crime, like, say, like, you know, you hit somebody in the head with an axe, you know what I mean, like, you did some extracurricular shit, and then, like, you sat here and you robbed somebody at gunpoint, like, by all means, yes, let's fucking talk about you need to go to jail, right? These things are fucking crimes that you can't have inside of a society. You know what I mean? Like, fucking you extorted somebody, you did whatever, right? But, like, those things are fucking criminal things, and, like, yes, you should be punished with fucking jail. But once you're done with your time in jail, that's the end of it. That should be the end of the time in jail. Like, I understand that if you want to have, say, like, you know, the CIA and FBI or whatever, like, they don't want to hire criminals because, like, fucking, you know, they have to fucking have classified documents put into the hands of individuals, and you want them to be able to be trusted. I feel where you're at. You know what I'm saying? I do. But I personally think that, like, at this point in the stage of our society where you can literally predict what a human being's going to do before they fucking do it, you know what I mean? You know, like, what to look for in a human being to know whether or not they're fucking trustworthy with shit. You know what I mean? When it comes down to it. And, like, for instance, like, they run credit checks on motherfuckers when you go to get a job. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, why?
I mean, certain jobs, like, I can see, like, if you're around money, because, like, debt sometimes can put people in a bad situation. Like, if they can't, you know, they're going to steal. They're going to steal money. They're going to do what they have to. You know what I mean? Like, I see it a little bit, but there's been credit checks on jobs that you don't touch no money. You don't do nothing.
Yeah.
But, like, if you're in a position where you have access to people's credit cards because they call in, they process payments, or you're working at a convenience store or Walmart or anywhere, you know, you're handling money all the time. You know how easy it is? Like, it used to be, not so much now because there's cameras everywhere, but it used to be so easy. I mean, I worked in convenience stores. There wasn't cameras, like, pointing at the registers and shit, so it was easy for your employees just to, you know, stick a 20 or 50 in
How the fuck is there not cameras pointing at the fucking registers?
There wasn't.
This is like, what, back in, like, the fucking 1995 shit?
Well,
like
when I was 18, like, it was younger, you know,
this is
before
back, like,
all that.
98
Yeah.
and shit, yeah.
So, like, it was easier for that. And even still, like, now when you're bent down and putting money into the safe, you know, because you don't open the safe, you just put a number in, and you're sliding the money in. You can say, you know, you put this much money in, and you can grip the other in your hand and turn away from the camera. I mean, there's so many blind spots when you're working there. So I can see, because, I mean, you figure, if you're put in a bad situation and you got to feed your family, you're going to do what you have to.
Oh, yeah.
So I could see, but if they just have bad credit, doesn't mean that they're gonna steal from you and they're gonna do shit. Like, I mean, I see it both ways at times because I worked in that position. I see how easy it is, you know, and then you're fucked because, you know, your employees are robbing you blind. So you're not making a profit. But, you know.
I feel you, but there's, again, like, yo, there's something to be said for, like, having conversations with your employees and, like, actually, like, fucking taking care of your goddamn employees and shit.
Well, yeah, you
like,
got to.
If your employees are in a bad way and you're not giving out fucking raises and shit or whatever the case might be, like, you know, and this gets in, like, the whole, like, universal fucking health or, you know, universal healthcare joint, you know what I mean, like, fucking with, like, things that bankrupt you as a fucking person, you know what I'm saying, right? Like, as a human being, you know what I mean, like, fucking, you're gonna run into problems where, like, you owe money, you know what I'm saying, and, like, bad shit's gonna happen. And with that being said, like, jobs need to pay enough money that that's not that much of an issue, right? Like, for instance, back in the day when they had the minimum wage back in the 1970s, right? And this isn't like a pro minimum wage argument because I don't fucking like the minimum wage. But the thing is that if you take the minimum wage from the 1970s and you put it forward to today, the minimum wage back then was like $11 or $12 an hour in today's money because of how devalued our fucking currency is and how garbage our money is. Like, how much our money ain't worth shit. And they're like, we need to raise the minimum wage to $15. And I'm like, that's just going to cause inflation. You know what I'm saying? That's just like, you're literally just going to bump everybody up to $15 an hour. It's going to raise the cost of fucking goods across the board when it comes down to it. And that's not the way we need to go with the mentality either. Like,
well, no, you're not just bumping up minimum wage. Then you got to adjust your salary for everybody else. Because if they start out as minimum wage and they're whatever it is now, I don't even know, like 7 something, isn't it?
$7.25. It's been $7.25.
Yeah.
I remember when it went to $7.25.
Yeah. So if you're coming in off the street and you're making $7.25, you're brand new. So you've been with the company for like 4 years and now you're making $15. So they switch the minimum wage to $15. Now they're going to have to change your salary because you're making $15. You shouldn't be on minimum wage because you've been with the company for like 4 years. So now they're going to have to adjust your salary because they can't have somebody brand new coming in making $15 an hour and somebody that's been with the company. So it's going to fuck everything up.
I feel like, again, like, yo, this is how you cause inflation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and this is
but
why,
I'm
like,
saying, like,
it's not an immediate thing. You know what I mean? Like, yo, once employees are there a little bit, and here's the other bitch, right? Like, yo, if like motherfuckers coming in are making $15 an hour, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Fucking, like, the workers that are already there. You know what I'm saying? They're making $7.20 or $8 or $9 an hour. Like, them, you got to put them up at like fucking $19, $20 an hour.
Like, I was lucky
and you
enough.
like, yo, that's a $10 an hour jump.
Yeah.
Right. And when you're talking about doubling, you're like, if you're making $10 an hour and you go up to 20, that's a doubling of your fucking wages. That's a doubling of the debt that it costs to fucking pay your fucking employees and shit. And labor used to be like one of the biggest fucking hindrances or the biggest liabilities for a company was labor. Mm-hmm. And it still is for like a lot of companies like GM and Ford, you know what I mean, manufacturing companies. But it's not so much with places like Google or fucking Facebook or whatever the case might be because they don't have a fuck ton of employees. Or Walmart or Amazon because, like, you know, their biggest liability is inventory, you know what I mean, at this point, you know, because, like, the amount of goods that they have coming in and going out every day is fucking unbelievable.
But yeah, and I get it. Like, they're making, like, you know, so pay the employees proper. Like, when did that stop being, like, when did it stop being taking care of your employees?
When we stood here and let the whole third world come live with us.
Like,
that's,
you know,
that's
like,
what
I remember.
You have to control the labor market. You like see, like, yo, this is much easier to do in the labor market, right? It's much easier to stand here and go, no, you don't come in, right? Like, yo, you spend the fucking 12 or 13 or 15 or 30 billion, whatever it costs to build the fucking wall, and you build the goddamn wall, right? And you fucking make sure that people can't get the fuck in, right? And then what you do is you tell other countries, like, yeah, y'all. The only way you're coming into our country is if you're like a doctor or a lawyer. That's the only two ways you're coming to fuck in here. Period. No engineers, no fucking, like, you know what I mean, high skill labor jobs, none of that bullshit, no truck drivers, nothing. No, none. All right, and what you do is you let these jobs that nobody else wants to fill grow up in price. right? Until these motherfuckers are screaming for labor to where, like, you can go drive truck and it's $200,000 a year to fucking hop in a truck in America. That's what it should be. Because motherfuckers are making $100,000 a year back in the fucking 80s.
Yeah.
Right? And so, like, to go, all right, well, the average truck driver now makes 35 to 50.
Yeah.
And you were making 80 back in motherfucking, or $100,000 a year back in the 80s.
It's because they're a dime a dozen. And I worked for the company. I recruited them, and the company doesn't care because there's that many. They can just replace you tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah. Well, no, companies will beg to keep drivers, right?
Some, most of them don't.
Yo,
like,
a lot of them don't.
Side of it.
I feel no. Like, I've been on both sides of that too, right? Like, because I used to do logistics work where I set up loads and fucking had truck drivers and shit. I had a whole deal too. Right, but like legitimately, when you have decent drivers, you try to keep.
Well, yeah,
right?
you will, but you got the ones that are the, you know what I mean. Now, you need me more than I need you, and that's not true.
Well, because the truck drivers, I feel but we're not going to kiss somebody's ass to keep a job because like we know we can go to the next place tomorrow. I'm saying.
That's what it is.
You know what I mean? Like I know what I have, you know what I'm saying? Like I got a perfect driving record for the past fucking, you know what I mean, like 6 years. I have 0 accidents, no tickets, nothing. You know what I mean? I have nothing on my goddamn record. Nothing on my DAC report. On my fucking shit is super clean. So I know no matter what happens, I can get a fucking job. You know what I'm saying? And like, so with that being said, no, I'm not going to kiss your ass. No. Every time you come out with a new policy, I'm going to tell you to fuck off. Right? I'm going to tell you to eat a dick for as long as possible. Every time you tell me to go do your fucking dumb training and try to make me do it for free and not get paid, I'm going to tell you to fuck off. Right? Every time. Why is this? Because I don't care about you and I don't care about your bullshit. Because I know the next company will fucking pay me the same way that you're paying me. It's that simple. You know what I mean? And like, yo, that should be the mentality as if you have a skill as a fucking, as a worker, right? If you have like some type of like, I don't know, like ability or special fucking whatever, you know what I mean? Like if you're a plumber, electrician, HVAC guy, fucking, if you're a welder, you know what I mean, if you're a crane operator, you know what I mean, you're a fucking whatever, you're a heavy machine operator, all of us feel the exact same way. It's, you eat a dick, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can get a job tomorrow. I'm not worried about this bullshit. I'm really not. You can kiss my fucking ass. And companies fucking hate that. They've been killing themselves trying to stand here and fucking trying to stand here and make sure that everybody's replaceable because they hate the idea of having to fucking negotiate with the fucking worker. They hate that. They hate that with a passion. Like, they hate that's why, like, motherfuckers are so anti-union and shit. Like, they're, like, this huge anti-union movement. Like, I'm pro-union because, like, yo, fuck these companies. Like, yo, fuck these companies. Like, real shit. And this is where I get on my leftist shit a lot of times. And I'm not super right-wing about all things. Like, if you can get paid, get fucking paid, for fuck's sake. You know what I mean? Like, yo, tell these motherfuckers to eat a dick and pay you. You know, like, yo, because you're what's important. This is why, like, again, it's why you have to control the amount of people inside of your country, right? Like, yo, if we have a smaller population, you have better wages.
Well, yeah.
It's a basic premise. Legitimately. With a smaller population, you have better wages. With a bigger population, your wages go down. All right? When your wages go to fuck down, all right, the standard of living goes down. Whether or not you like the idea that, or whether or not you want to stand there and argue and go, oh, we all got laptops and cell phones and flat screens and all this bullshit. I'm like, okay, you have all these things. Are you going on vacation the same way your parents did? You know what I'm saying? Have any of us been to the Grand Canyon? You know what I mean? like, yo, like, you know what I mean? My parents, like, yo, fucking, like, yo, they had the bit, like, when they fucking were kids, they were out going on boats and shit, and, you know what I mean, like, fucking enjoying their lives. You know what I mean? Me as a fucking kid, nigga, I went nowhere, right? You know what I'm saying? And now, like, as an adult, I don't even get vacation. Like, I get vacation days, and I cash them motherfuckers in when I need fucking extra money. You know, that's what I use vacation for, is like, yo, when I need extra money, or like, if my kid's sick and I gotta take him to the doctor. Because they don't even call it fucking vacation time. They call it paid time off. And you have to earn it, Right? It's not even like, oh yeah, you get 2 weeks vacation your first year. No, it's not even that anymore. Now it's like, yo, you get 0.21 fucking hours per week, and every week it accrues, and at the end of the year you will have 7 fucking days accrued. And like, yo, so every time I get a day, I'm just basically gonna cash it the fuck in and take a day's worth of pay so I can have some extra fucking cash in my pocket so I can go and get a fucking better cut of meat. Like, the fuck out of here. Our standard of living has been fucking dropping in this country for the past 30 fucking years.
I remember my first apartment was $350 a month.
Right? I had half a house on Vernon Street, right?
It was supposed to be a 1-bedroom for $350, living room, kitchen, bathroom, but the attic was turned in to 2 extra bedrooms. So I had a 3-bedroom house, a 3-bedroom apartment, $350. And I worked for like less than $10 an hour. And I was able to afford everything. Like, the fuck? Now I can't afford to.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's fucking... You know, it is... I don't know, man. Like, it is what the fuck it is. You know what I mean? Like, it's just... You know, that's kind of the mental right there as far as shit's concerned. You know, like, fucking... This is why, like, you know, I'm like, yo, look, the government can do things that help the American public, right? And it can do things that are not spending money or robbing us. Real shit. There are things they can do. And, like, one of those things that they can do is, like, control population, right? Like, and I'm not talking about, like, you know, eugenics, but, like, you know, stop letting fucking extra people in. It's unnecessary. You know what I mean? You stop letting people on top of that, housing gets cheaper, right? Yo, like, cars get cheaper. Fucking college gets cheaper. Yeah. Schools get cheaper. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, the cost of motherfucking, like, to buy goods gets cheaper. Like, everything becomes better for the rest of the country. It's just garbage for the top 1%.
College is a joke.
College is a fucking joke.
Unless you're going to be like a lawyer or a doctor, college is a joke. Because look at all these people that have degrees, and they're sitting at home now, and the people that have trades are the ones out running the fucking country right now. Or people that have no training past high school. Because they're considered essential.
Yeah.
Whereas everybody else that went to college for like 4 years and now are in debt forever. Like, college is, to me, you don't learn anything anyway. The education system's all fucked up too.
Oh, yeah, the education system is garbage. And it's mostly because, like, what they're doing is
they never changed it.
What do you mean they never changed it?
You learn the same shit. Like, just change it up. Teach people how to live. You're not teaching them how to live beyond school.
Okay. Well, like, that's part of the problem. Like, most of the problem really is the fact that, like, they're standing here. They're not teaching to the smarter kids anymore, right? Like, they're teaching to the dumbest kids in the class at this point. So everybody's being held behind. And on top of that, they did experiments recently, like last year. They had an experiment about, like, what's the best way to educate somebody to learn a new fucking fact or whatever, right? And they literally found out the best way to teach somebody is to hit them with a fucking stick every time they get it wrong. That's the best way.
Well, that's what they did in the old days. My dad was like, I used to get my ass beat in school.
Yo, so legitimately, like, yo, and nobody will accept that. Like, nobody will, like, yo, so we're going to keep getting dumber. You know what I mean? Because, like, yo, there isn't a way to teach human beings.
No, there's not.
All right. To teach dumb people how to be smarter, right? And you're going to spend the majority of the year going over what you forgot from the year before.
Yeah, you do.
And just so, like, it just gets down to the point where nobody ever grows. You know what I mean? And it's going to be that way fucking forever. You know what I mean? Like, fucking forever and shit. Yo. Man, listen. Yo, fucking, I was sitting here looking at the comments on the fucking Tempo video. Legitimately, like, yo, I hate fanboys. Like, I really do. Like, motherfuckers, like, they have fanboys and shit. And, like, I get it. Like, yo, I like my fans. Like, yo, they're cool people. Like, I got niggas who's ride or die on my channel. You know what I mean? They'll die with me and shit. They down to go. Right? But, like, I did a video about another YouTuber yesterday. And, like, all of his fans is on my fucking comment section whining and complaining and bitching and shit. Like, it's fucking hilarious. Like a bunch of little faggot ass little girls and shit, right? Like, they be trying to insult the shit out of motherfuckers and shit. Like, I can see why Tim Pool's growing and you're not. And I'm like, really? You know what I mean? It couldn't be the fact that, like, he doesn't curse. You know what I'm saying? He don't give a shit about, like, actually, like, fucking giving out facts or numbers or, you know what I mean, like, actually having any reason on his channel. You know what I mean? Like, he just wants to do this basically the same thing that fucking CNN does, right? And, like, sit there and spout out mainstream media garbage and talk about, like, fucking how fucking trash AOC is and fucking, you know what I mean, how, like, he wants to cover like garbage ass political bullshit that doesn't really fucking matter and has no background behind it. Now, I mean, it couldn't be the fact that like he's pandering to the lowest common denominator of human beings. But I mean, by all means, like, yeah, I'm trying to raise motherfuckers up and make them better and have actual intellectual conversations about what the fuck's going on. But by all means, like, let's keep pretending, you know what I'm saying, that like these niggas is doing a better job than me. You know what I mean? Like, maybe it's the fact that, like, a retard can grasp his fucking channel. Y'all motherfuckers couldn't possibly understand about 80% of the shit that I bring out on my channel because I talk to niggas about it in real life and I talk to niggas about it on the internet and they go, busy signal, right? Because I'm way fucking smarter than y'all, right? And I fucking feel bad about that. I do, all right? And I'm not trying to be a fucking, like a fucking egocentric, fucking overconfident, fucking arrogant prick. But the reality is that I didn't start off being highly intelligent. I did. But, like, I didn't start off having all this knowledge. I just read a bunch of shit. I've spent the past 3, 4, 10 years just reading shit. Like, I fucking went and read Tolstoy, and I fucking read Paine, and I read fucking Locke, and I read Machiavelli, and I read fucking Sun Tzu, and I fucking read fucking Bernays, and I fucking went through and I fucking read what the hell, Thomas Sowell, right? And I fucking went through and I read Jefferson and fucking Penn, and I fucking I read all this fucking shit, right? You know what I mean? I got down and I just read everything I could possibly read, and you know what I mean? Like, I fucking sat here and I do my best to understand and grasp concepts and go back and have a full understanding of what the fuck I'm talking about before I say some shit. And, like, these motherfuckers legitimately, and like, I have, like, when I do my fucking YouTube channel, like, when I do my fucking research and shit, like, it's not just, like, I stand here and I go, oh, man, I gotta fucking, like, do research on just this subject, what happened today. No. I go, all right, what led up to this? Right? Like, I'm not just gonna tell you that some shit happened. I'm gonna explain, all right, well, how did we get here? Right? You know what I mean? I'm not going to come up and go, a guy today punched a broad in the face in Central Park. You know what I'm saying? And in other news, right? Like, no, that's like the very end of a story. Like, we need the beginning of it because there's a whole lot that led up to it. Like, what if there was, like, you know what I mean? Like, fucking some mugger was trying to mug the bitch and he went to hit that dude and, like, punched the bitch in the face. You missed, like, half the fucking story and shit. You know what I mean? Like, and this is the fucking problem, is nobody, like, read what led up to any of this bullshit or whatever. You know what I mean? You didn't hear whether or not the dude got arrested. You didn't hear the outcome of nothing. You know what I'm saying? You didn't hear any of this shit. And that's the fucking problem with guys like fucking Tim Pool, is they tell you half facts, you know what I mean, and half nonsense. You know what I mean? Because, like, they're not digging into, like, what's actually going on, because he understands that his fan base can't understand dick. They're fucking, like, like TFM, he knows his fans, right? He used to do what was known as monkeynomics videos, right? This turd flinging monkey is the guy's name, right? You know what I'm saying? And he's a fucking amazing YouTuber, and he's ridiculously intelligent, right? One of my favorite guys to hang around. But, here's the but. The fucking guy knows that he cannot do and be successful doing what I do. Why is this? Because of the fact that most motherfuckers can't grasp concepts. Can't do it. Why? Because our education system is hot garbage. Hot garbage. Legitimately, like, the moment you start hearing about numbers and shit, like, I put on them fucking movies for you. What the fuck we watch? We were watching The Big Short the other night. Yeah, you were just all tights, like, who gives a fuck, right? But like, yo, it's legitimately one of the most important movies you'll ever watch in your whole life because it's absolutely real and it shows like exactly what happened throughout the 2008 financial crisis. And I got another one called fucking Too Big to Fail that I wish, you know what I mean, you would watch with me. And fucking like, it's an amazing goddamn movie and shit. It's fucking spectacular. Like, it shows like these perspectives. Like, there's 3 different movies. There's The Big Short, Too Big to Fail, and Margin Call, right? And what it is it's 3 perspectives of how that fucking financial crisis happened, right? And then you have me, which I stand here and I tell you, you know what I mean, like my perspective from like the average citizen, right? But like then the Too Big to Fail joint is from the government's perspective. It's from like what happened in the Treasury Department. Literally, its head fucking person is Hank Paulson, the head of the fucking Treasury, right? And then you have fucking Margin Call, which is like from inside of the actual boardroom, one of these companies, when this shit happened. And then you had The Big Short from an investor who was outside, who was shorting the market and saw this bullshit coming. Which would be like Peter Schiff's or fucking Gerald Celente or fucking, I'm trying to think here. Fucking, there was a couple other guys back then that were screaming about this, but they were great and I loved them. And I mean, fucking, I'm still big fans of what they do today. Somewhat, I don't know, like Peter Schiff's kind of become Chicken Little at this point. Like every day he runs around screaming like a fucking, like he's been saying the same thing forever. It's kind of like a broke clock right twice a day. You know what I mean? Like he's like, well, you know, the dollar's gonna crash. The dollar's gonna crash, and like now that the dollar's crashing, everybody's like, hey, Peter, the dollar's crashing. What's going on? Like, yo, yeah, you're good to call it now, but like in regular life, like you need to be able to call what's gonna happen, other than when the dollar crashes. You know what I'm saying? Because his predictions haven't been good for like gold or silver either, which is fucking awful. He's like, it's gonna be a bull run on gold, and I'm like, nigga, it's down to like 1,400. The fuck you talking about? Like, fuck out of here, right? And then it goes down to like 13 or 14, whatever. You know, it's at 16 at that point, and that's kind of like really where, you know what I mean, the fucking mental's at and shit. And like having a turd flinging monkey, but anyway, like, yeah, he did these monkeynomic videos, and they're fucking amazing. I love them. They're one of my favorite fucking videos to watch. But like the problem is like most people just can't grasp it, you know. And like fucking schools make you, they don't teach you that economics is an extremely important thing, right? Because you just assume that Wall Street got this and they know what the fuck they're doing. But the reality is that like, yo, they have but so much control. And that's why like a lot of people, they go, oh man, like the Federal Reserve is like, you know, it's a creature from Jekyll Island, you know, and like, you're telling me Jesse Ventura, a governor, a soldier, a fighter, like you're telling me that this creature from Jekyll Island was created like, yo, in the middle of the night and was passed under the veil of darkness? I completely believe you. Right. You know what I mean? And it's fucking bullshit. You know what I mean? It really is. It's fucking, it's nonsense. Like, the reality is, like, the Fed's the government, man. You know, and, like, y'all motherfuckers just want a boogeyman to blame for your fucking problems of you not wanting to pay for the free shit that you want. Like, that's what everything really boils down to. It's like everybody wants free stuff and nobody wants to pay for it. Like, the government throughout the 20th century has stood here and hang on 1 second. Much better. All right. Fucking, so the government throughout 20th century has collected 19% of GDP, right? If the tax rate was at 100%, right, they collected 19%. When the tax rate's at 30%, they collect 19%. Like, yo, this is what it is. 19% is how much money you can collect out of the GDP. That's all you're going to get. Because if you take more, right, the GDP goes down. Because, like, fucking people just stop working. Because they're like, fuck it. There's no reason for me to keep banging on if you're going to take more than 20% of my income. Right? You know what I mean? And if fucking, like, they stand here and they fucking lower it down, you know what I mean? Like, the 20% they get is bigger because GDP grows. So keeping taxes low fucking keeps everything fucking going. But the problem is that people want more free shit. But they don't want to pay more taxes. Like, the average person don't want to pay more money out of their fucking paycheck. Because you take too much money out of people's paycheck, they just stop working. and like causes massive social dysfunction, and like just the government causes fucking massive problems inside of the market when they do this, and with human beings in general, because like you can only take so much money out of a person, and so but they want free stuff, but nobody wants to pay for it, so you just print the money out of fucking thin air, and that's really the whole fucking basic premise of all the problems in the world, right? And all the problems in the United States really boils down to everybody wants free shit and nobody wants to fucking pay for it. Everybody wants freedom, but nobody wants responsibility, right? You know what I mean? And they get upset when somebody enacts authority over their motherfucking bullshit. They get fucking angry when the individuals who are responsible, right, go, no, yo, look, we can't do this. Motherfuckers get angry and go, oh, what gives you the right to have authority? Like, because I'm paying for it, retard. like, when the big banks come out and go, or when the fucking bankers and these CEOs and shit come out and they go, you can't have universal health care, it doesn't work, right? And fucking they go, oh, he's just a monster. He's an old white man and fucking he don't care about nobody. And you go, no, motherfucker. He's trying to explain to you the financials to this. I don't even know nothing about no numbers. And the average person is too fucking dumb to grasp concept. And that's the fucking issue. And it's fucking terrible. Because, like, I'm trying my best to just, like, drag people up by their fucking heels and go, come on, pussy, get the fuck up. And I mean, like, yo, we need to become smarter. We need to become better. We need to become, you know what I mean, like, more rounded fucking citizens and be responsible for what the fuck it is we're doing. Because if we don't, everything's gonna fucking collapse. You know what I'm saying? When it comes down to it, that's the reality of the fucking matter. But yeah, that's, you know, that's kind of the mentality right now. So with that being said, you know what I mean, education is an issue in America, but like education's only really an issue because well, first litigation, right? That nonsense of like you can't put hands on the kid, you know what I mean? So sometimes a nigga needs smacked upside the head with a ruler.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yo.
I don't think like most females. That's the problem.
I feel you. Well, again, like yo, but most females is retarded. That's kind of the issue. Like yo, they are like they're legally fucking retarded. You know, like they, you know, they're. A lot of the issue is they're like 58% of the voting base, and the vast majority of them are fucking stupid and a bag of hammers, and they don't pay any taxes. Right? That's really, you know what I mean, the crux of the fucking issue and shit. It's like 14% of the population or some shit like that's on welfare, right? Well, at current, it's like 50 or 60%, right? Because Corona-chan, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Because the Boogaloo fever's out, right? But fucking, you know, look, niggas is out here eating bats and they chili and shit, right? You know, fucking, but, you know, when you have, like, that many human beings can vote for free shit, and only like 50% of the population votes, and 14% of the population is on welfare and have nothing to do all day but vote, that's a bit of an issue. Alright, well, like, yo, I'm gonna shut this bitch down. Y'all know the situation. Like, share, and subscribe, man. Fucking more positive content like Tom Pease does. Like nobody else does. I'll holler at your motherfuckers. Peace.